Good morning. Good morning, sir. Welcome to Ryerson Towers. This is our humble abode. It's our affordable living facilities, and we welcome everyone here this morning. I'm Darrell Bayer. I'm also on the board as the board treasurer. I've been living here for 16 years, together with myself, my family, and all my neighbors. We ensure that Ryerson Towers will remain affordable in the Mitchell-Lama program for the next year. There are some challenges that comes with affordability. As we all know, you look around Brooklyn, there's friends of us who will migrate, who left because of the rising rents. They couldn't afford to live here, but Ryerson Towers is determined to make sure that we all stay in here for future generations.
Amen.
With the help of the city, we were able to secure some necessary financing to help us. Since the building is 64 years old, the city was very generous enough to give us the necessary loans to make sure we comply and rehabilitate our infrastructure. So as an example, we had our plumbing risers done. We had our brand new roof, 4 brand new elevators, new windows, dual heating system, balconies, terraces, and now we're expanding on our gas risers. So all that without increasing our rent that much. Oh.
That's okay.
So, one more success story. I immigrated from Trinidad, went to school in the CUNY system, graduated with a bachelor's degree in accounting, and now I run my own consulting firm. So, with that said, affordable living is the way to go for Ryerson, for the future generation. And I'll now turn this mic over to one other, the mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Darrell, I just want to tell you that, first of all, Darrell was too modest. He is a New York success story, and let's commend him. A hard-working man, an immigrant, came here, got his education, raised his family, now running his own business. Let's thank Darrell for all he's doing. And for all he's doing for this building, because, you know, all that great work that we talked about. All right, get out of your system. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Everybody. Darrell talked about what has been done in this building. Now, you know the history of Mitchell-Lama housing. This housing was created years and years ago to be a place for working people to have stable and affordable housing. And it was planned for decades ahead, but it was not planned to be permanent. That was the problem. Mitchell-Lama housing, for years it was great until suddenly the bill came due, if you will. And these buildings started to be threatened. And their future and your futures, your ability to live in your own building, your own apartment, like so many tens of thousands of New Yorkers, was threatened. That's why we had to do something different. And Darrell's exactly right. It was important for the city of New York to step in and provide the help and provide the support to keep this building going. Because we've seen a lot of people lose their housing in this city, right? And we want it to stop. We want to protect people's housing. We want people to be able to live in their own neighborhood. And so this is how we do it. We've got a beautiful building here and wonderful people have made a community here. And it's so important to provide the help to keep this building strong. So that's what today is about. Now, I got to tell you, it's an example. It's an example of what it means to get things right. You can see what this means for people's everyday lives. And it is about families. You know, Daryl showed me his apartment. It's him, his wife, and his daughter. By the way, his daughter just graduated. That's from Goucher College. Let's give him a round of applause for that. And here's the thing to remember. When we talk about affordable housing, we're talking about families. We're talking about people being able to have affordable housing now, but also passing on those apartments to their children. Right? That's what we're fighting to protect. That's what we're fighting to protect. So today we're going to talk about a new plan the city has to protect this building and so many buildings like it, not only for today, but for the future generations. And that's why we're so excited by this announcement. Now, let me tell you something. A lot of people here deserve credit, and especially want to thank everyone at the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, everyone at the Housing Development Corporation who have been front and center in this. Give a special thank you to our Housing Commissioner, Maria Torres-Springer, and the President of the Housing Development Corporation, Eric Enderlin. Thank you. I want to thank everyone who makes this building great, all the members of the Board of Directors of Ryerson Towers. Thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause. And then a special thank you. A good friend of mine is here, and you know her as a great advocate for the residents of Mitchell-Lama buildings and for the community. She also happens to be the mom of one of the great members of the New York State Assembly. Let's thank Marilyn Mosley for all she does. Thank you, Marilyn. And a great advocacy group that's supporting these changes to help Mitchell-Lamas keep going. Live On New York. Let's thank Live On New York. And let's thank the drummer. Where's the drummer? Thank you, drummer. You're good. You're good. I'm going to bring you with me wherever I go. So, everybody, here's another way I talk about this kind of thing. This is about keeping New York, New York. This is about keeping New York City what it is, not letting it slip away. Everyone here knows we all came up with New York City as a place for everyone. You didn't have to be rich, right? You could be an everyday person and find a place to live. You could find a decent job. You could raise a family here. That's what we have to protect. The heart and soul of New York City is we're a place for everyone. We can't become a gilded city. We can't become a gated community. We can't become an exclusive city. It won't be the same place anymore if it's not a place for everyone. And that's why when you think about the Mitchell-Lama buildings, they were created with that kind of idea in mind. Working people need a place to live. And when you have a city that respects working people, it's the kind of city we believe in. And it can't slip away. So today we celebrate the fact that we're finding ways to actually protect these buildings for the long haul. Now, I got to tell you, people work so hard. Working class people, middle class people in buildings like this work so hard to make ends meet, never anticipated what ended up happening all around us. And I say this as a Brooklynite. I am so proud to be a Brooklynite. I'm so proud to be a Brooklynite. By the way, this whole week, we have the city government focused on Brooklyn. We brought all the city government into Brooklyn with the great assistance and partnership of Borough President Eric Adams, who you'll hear from in a moment. We're focused on Brooklyn. We love Brooklyn. But who in the world thought Brooklyn would become one of the most expensive places that you could possibly imagine? I never thought Brooklyn would cost this much, right? We all saw things change around us really quickly. And it was a shock. And we're still making up for that. So that's why it's even more important to protect our Mitchell-Lama buildings and to protect all the good people in them. You know, when we were all watching years ago, if I had said to you 20, 30 years ago there'd be all sorts of $1 million homes and $1 million apartments in Brooklyn, you would have said I was crazy. But now it's become the norm. That's why protecting affordable housing is more important than ever. Now look, there's a sobering reality. Over the last 30 years, about 20,000 apartments that were in the Mitchell-Lama program slipped out of it in this city. Okay, I want you to realize that. Go back to the 1980s to present, we've lost about 20,000 apartments that were affordable. We can't let that happen anymore. There's about 45,000 apartments in this city, in Mitchell-Lama buildings, that now are threatened with falling out of affordability and going market rate. Our job is to stop that. Our job is to intervene. And we know that has huge consequences for everyday people. So that's what we're here to announce today. A $250 million program to protect these apartments and keep them affordable for the long haul. Now, I want to give you some good news. Even as we fight this fight, great work of our colleagues at HPD and HDC and all the folks they work with, they have found new and better ways to save these apartments. So just in the last 3 years, and I want you to look at Maria and Eric and think about them and all the people who work with them. In the last 3 years, they have saved 11,000 Mitchell-Lama apartments in New York City. That means 11,000 families that still have affordable housing who might have lost it. That's how important this is. But we're going to take what they've learned, what they've achieved, and now do it on an even bigger scale. There are 15,000 apartments we're going to focus on immediately, starting now and over the next few years, to save 15,000 more families who need to stay in the buildings that they love, in the neighborhoods they love, just like everyone here loves this building and this neighborhood. So help is on the way for those families. And this $250 million plan will keep them in their homes. That's what we believe in. I'll say this finally. We announced this week that we had found our affordable housing plan was working. More and more people were getting affordable housing. The goal was to reach 500,000 people. 500,000 New Yorkers, by either giving them the subsidy and support to stay in their existing apartment or build new affordable housing. That plan is more needed than ever as the cost of housing soars. We found that our plan was working so quickly that we were able to speed it up because it was ahead of schedule, and then we were able to go farther. So I announced 3 years ago a plan to reach 500,000 people. We're going to reach 250,000 more than originally anticipated. So real people, real New Yorkers are going to get the affordable housing they deserve. 750,000 people total will be reached by this plan. It proves this city is great. This city's great in so many ways. The people are what make it great. But also, this city gets things done. We didn't used to have an affordable housing crisis. Then it became a part of our life. Well, guess what? Now we're fighting back. Now the city of New York, which really knows how to do things in a big, bold way. We are bold, aren't we? Yes. We're proud New Yorkers, right? Yes. We have a big answer to a big problem. And we're going to save the affordable housing that people need in every neighborhood of this city. And it starts right here at Ryerson Towers. Congratulations to all of you. Just going to give you a moment of Espanol. We're covering all the ground. Los proyectos de Mitchell-Lama ofrecen vivienda asequible a miles de ancianos y trabajadores neoyorquinos. Estamos anunciando un plan de $250 millones para proteger el futuro de estas comunidades. Es parte de nuestro plan para que Nueva York siga siendo una ciudad asequible para todos. A city affordable to all.
Affordable housing.
There you go, que viva. With that now, my honor to turn to another proud Brooklynite and a strong advocate for people who need affordable housing, our public advocate, Letitia James.
Oh, thank you. Yay. Is Ryerson in the house? Mm-hmm. Is Pratt Towers in the house? Is 21 St. James in the house? So I want to welcome all of you, and I want to welcome the mayor of the city of New York to our neighborhood. As you all know, I'm a neighbor. I live right across the street. And as all of you know, I visit these buildings quite often. And as all of you know, we've had a number of struggles throughout the last few years. But Mr. Mayor, a lot of these buildings, they're housed by mature individuals. Mature individuals who are concerned about what is happening in our neighborhood, concerned about being priced out. Individuals who oftentimes feel concerned about being displaced and being evicted. And what we have seen here in this neighborhood is individuals who have reached out to me and said, I want to pass this apartment on to my family member. And that has come up time and time again. What we have seen is concerns about maintenance and about capital needs in these three buildings. Individuals have reached out to me about some of, let's be honest, some of the HPD regulations. So what we really need to do, and I'm so glad that the mayor is here, because I don't know if we've ever had a mayor here, so let's give a round of applause to Mayor de Blasio. Yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to someone who's a household name. Where's Julie Walpart? Julie? Yay! We all know Julie. Thank you, Julie, for all that you have done. It's critically important that we preserve affordable housing. I want to thank the mayor for this major investment. We want to stay in our homes. We want to stay in Clinton Hill. We want to stay in Fort Greene. We want to make sure this community continues to be diverse. We want to make sure that this neighborhood that we were here for a very long time, that we're not displaced, and we will not be moved. And so what we need is the assistance of government, because government, that's the role of government and the function of government. And so we want to thank the mayor of the city of New York. We want to thank him for, again, coming to our neighborhood. We want to thank him for his commitment to preserving affordable housing. And we want to thank him for saving our homes. I also want to thank the Mitchell-Lama Task Force. Yes. Under the leadership of our great borough president, Eric Adams, they have stood the test of time. They continue to meet and focus on the needs of Mitchell-Lama, and I want to thank them for their commitment and their hard work. And I want to thank all of you for coming out. This is a great day in Brooklyn, a great day in Clinton Hill, a great day at Ryerson, and a great day for government, and a great day for all of you, and a great day to preserve affordable housing. Si se puede.
Thank you, Tish. Next speaker is not lucky enough to be from Brooklyn, but he's still a good guy.
All right.
Nobody's perfect. So when our comptroller's here, it means he thinks the money's being used for a good reason. We like it when the comptroller's around. It means the money's being used well. My honor to introduce our city comptroller, Scott Stringer.
Thank you very much. Quickly, 4 years ago when I was running citywide, my wife said to me, look, we have two little kids. The apartment's too small. You're going to be in Brooklyn. Go find an apartment we can move to. Right? I talked to Eric Adams. I talked to Tish James, and they were like, see what you can do. After the race, I come back. She says, where are we moving in Brooklyn? I said, Elise, the rent's too damn high over there. Yeah, so I just want to let you know. I'm very honored to be here with Tish James and Eric Adams, who have been on the front lines in Brooklyn and around the city on so many of these issues. And I'm here today because Bill de Blasio, our mayor, has decided to change the game. Because one of the things we know in Ryerson and around the city is that these 289 Mitchell-Lama buildings, home to 100,000 units around the state, this is the community that built New York. Because think about this. A generation ago, when Mitchell-Lama was being built after the war in the 50s and 60s, Mitchell-Lama was being built in communities that the developers didn't want to invest in, the speculators didn't want to invest in. In fact, there wasn't the kind of resources in the city. So the people who moved into Mitchell-Lama were the pioneers. They built the schools and the daycare centers and created intergenerational and multiracial housing around the city. That's what this is today. And we all know that Mitchell-Lama has been on the brink for 20 years. The mayor's right. We've lost 20,000 units, but the whole program is in jeopardy because of short-sightedness. But today, Bill de Blasio has just put up $250 million to say Mitchell-Lama tenants matter in this city. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Now, people could ask, well, did he call you yesterday and say, do we have the money in the bank? He just said, just get here. I got something to tell you. But I do think this is a game changer. It matters. And as Mrs. Mosley, who I know is world famous here, but she actually works with me in the controller's office, we both agree that this is about an ounce of prevention financially that's worth a pound of cure. Thank you, Mayor de Blasio. Thank you, HPD. We did good today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, someone who's represented you for a long time and has fought the battle for affordable housing, not only here in the community, but in that very, very scary place called Albany, New York. She has stood up for us, stood up for this borough, stood up for this city. Senator Velmanette Montgomery.
Thank you. Can I just ask you one more time to welcome our mayor to our home? Not often that you get the mayor to come to your house. So this is huge, Mayor. Thank you. And I want to just say this represents just a small fraction of the thousands of people who live in Mitchell-Lamas in my district. And we have been on the verge of losing them daily, frightened that people in this room would lose their homes, but also across our borough. Yep. We are confronted with this problem so that you have come up with something that we feel is a solution to us losing housing. And also, I'm prepared to continue to work with you on a better solution to building housing. So the people who were on the outside, we can begin to address them as well. So we're here together inside, they're outside, but we all want to say thank you, and we look forward to working with you as we work to build a housing plan that does exactly what you said, reaches out to every New Yorker, no matter what our station in life. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. You. And now I want to introduce someone who started out as a community activist and then became an elected official, but she is an activist at heart. She stood up for everyday people and now continues that work in Albany. Assemblymember Joanne Simon.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank the mayor for this really visionary approach to restoring and rescuing Mitchell-Lama, and HPD for all of your work and guidance. This is just a tremendous approach. In my district, which is the neighboring assembly district, the 52nd, we've already lost some Mitchell-Lama housing. I see my people here because they are part of the Mitchell-Lama task force. They've been working very hard so that we can, in fact, keep Mitchell-Lama housing affordable. And I want to just say one other thing, and that is I want to thank Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Lama for having the vision years and years ago to create this program. The best housing program, affordable housing program that's ever been created. We owe them a great debt, and we need to do this and continue this in their memory. Thank you.
I want to just thank Joanne Simon because, yeah, there was a Mr. Lama, okay? And no, he was not that kind of llama with 2 L's, okay? He was a guy, and he deserves credit, as does Mr. Mitchell. Well done, well done. Okay, last but never least, he has been our partner in everything we have done to make Brooklyn more affordable and to keep Brooklyn a place for Brooklynites. And make sure that everyday people can continue. The folks, as you heard, who went through, a lot of people here know, went through the tougher times to get to the better times, are the people who should be able to stay and enjoy the neighborhoods they made great. And I know Eric Adams understands that. He fights for it every day as the powerful voice for the people of Brooklyn. Your borough president, Eric Adams.
Thank you. Thank you. Come on. Come on. Come on, Santa. Come and stand up. Hold those signs. Hold that sign up. Hold that sign up. You know, you think about as Joanne stated, Mitchell and Lama, the role that they played. And sometimes when you name something, you tend to believe that it's not real individuals behind it. Mitchell and Lama were human beings. And there are 3 phases of government. There's the legislate, there's the negotiate, and then there's the agitate. And these women that are standing next to me are representatives of years of agitation. When I was elected, they fought, they met, they never gave in. And the reason we are here today is because we had a mayor that never allowed his ears to be removed from the ground and hear the concerns of the people, not only in this borough, but this victory will be cascaded throughout the entire city. The heart and soul of this city are the men and women who live in Mitchell-Lama Task Force and Mitchell-Lama's developments and community. That's the heart and soul. During the beginning of my policing years, when we were waking up to gunshots and not alarm clocks, they were here. They stayed. They weathered the storm, the turbulent times. And so it is imperative that we have a real plan of holding on to Mitchell-Lamas and ensuring that the family members can now enjoy not only the popularity, but the prosperity that this borough and this city has to offer. This is so important. Does it mean that the fight is over? No. Does it mean that we don't continue to fight to ensure that we have housing? It is a continuous fight. And those who are outside now and marching and protesting, it's all part of the process. They're not our enemies. We are not against them, and they are not against us. It is a unified voice that states Brooklyn and New York must remain affordable for everyday people who deserve to live here. It's part of the process. But let me tell you this. There's never been anyone in office who provided free legal services for those who were being removed from their homes as this mayor has done. There's never been anyone in office who has been willing to have landlords be involved in perp walks when they decide to illegally evict anyone from their homes. There's never been anyone in office who has allocated to preserve affordable units and build thousands of new units and even push the envelope to tell his administration we must even include 1,000 more to make sure that this place is in office. This is the right mayor for the right time to deal with the right issue, and that's the homeless issue and the housing issue that's in this city. He's doing the job right. He's doing the job right. And so this is one of many announcements that we've made this week on dealing with the issue that all of the elected officials are here. That's the number one issue we are hearing in our office, the issue of housing, the number one issue. And that is why we're here to say to you, Mitchell-Lama, and to the task force, and to those who have held it down for far so long in this city, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for making New York what it is. And now that you made it what it is, we want to do all that we have to do to make sure that you enjoy the prosperity that it has to offer. You did what you had to do. And so Mitchell-Lama may have built it, but it was the Mosleys and the Smiths and the Johnsons and the Harris and the families that sustained it. And congratulations to you. Thank you.
Well done. So as we conclude, I want to just pick up where Eric was. Yes, Marilyn. Well, Marilyn, you must. Come on. No one says no to Marilyn Mosley. We're going to add Marilyn Mosley.
It wouldn't be complete.
It wouldn't be complete. It wouldn't be complete. Marilyn.
This is my community, and I love it, okay? And I'm so proud of this community today and all the other communities that joined us this morning to let the mayor know that we're fierce and that we're going to hold him to his promises, okay? And we're going to hold the comptroller to make sure he delivers on the check, okay? We want the check.
You got the check,
So, I'd like to say one other thing that's very important. And you all know, and those of you who don't know, Assemblyman Walter Mosley resides here too, okay? And he would not have missed this today, but his father, who lives in Ohio, is having open heart surgery. And that's why he's not here. And I had to say that. And I sent you a message that he wouldn't be here. Okay, and I just wanted this community to know that Walter has not abandoned you today. He just could not be here because of those circumstances. So thank you, Ryerson, and thank you to all of the housing groups and advocates and people who made this day possible. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, my dear. Okay. Now that Marilyn got the final word in, I will conclude. I will conclude with this. I want my brother, the drummer, ready. Get ready. Okay? Because as we conclude, the credit goes to the people who stood up for years and years and made Brooklyn great. This victory today is your victory. Let's all give each other a round of applause. All right, thank you, everyone.